Jules here from Joolsedesigns and JT Creations. So back to basics. What we're going to do is make the cover for this journal. Now, as I said, we usually give 2 inches. So sorry, we've got 2 signatures that we've been working on. One's made from recycled paper, book pages, wrapping paper, envelopes. The other one's made from a digital. However, you can, if you use digitals, you can put nice wrapping papers, tissue papers, recycled papers, vice versa. You can use digitals. But what I decided to do was just show you both, because there is a lot of people that don't like using digitals. So, as I said before, we normally give 2, like an inch per signature. Now, to be quite honest, once this has got its bits and pieces in, I don't think 2 inches is going to be enough. I've got a 2-inch spine here. This is a cereal box, and this is what we're making the cover out of. And that's where it, so depending on what's in it, it might be a gator mouth, it might not. So what I've done is I measured that is 2 inches. Because I don't have a ruler, like a long 12-inch ruler with me here, I've already scored that using large books and things like that. In fact, I'll show you. And I will use this for a book as well. So all I did was I just put it along like that, and I just scored it. And normally I would put that on my cutting machine, and but the cutting machine, the trimmer I've got will not fit that. I also measured roughly the sort of like the width of my journal, and it's about 5 inches. So what I decided to do was I wanted 5.5. So all I do there is, when I find my pencil here, mark 5.5 there, and I mark 5.5 there, and then I just join up these 2 lines. 5.5's probably but what I've not decided yet is if I want a gatefold, that's like a flap over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out first. Right, so that's 5.5, isn't it? Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 5.5 from there. I'm not going to cut this. I'm going to decide what type of closure I want. So I'm going to bend that over. You're probably better off scoring it. Oops, that's all the stuff on the desk. Oh, I did start with a nice desk. Right, so I've scored it with my scissors. We can put that away. And what I've got is that looks a bit wonky. Right, yes it is, isn't it? Look at that. Oh dearie me, Julie. See, we can all do it wrong. Just went a bit off there. and then I can score it over. Right, okay, so now let me measure that. Right, so if I was to have what I'm thinking is having my journal in there. You always have a little bit, well, I like to have a little bit at the top and a little bit at the bottom. My journal closure there, then this would come up there, that's 2 inches, and then we would have a little flap there. And I think that would be quite nice. So what we'll do is we'll take a little bit off this. No, I'm just going to take it off. And that's how it's going to fold. Now sometimes I cover these with material, sometimes I cover them with paper. Usually it's paper and a bit of lace, and I have got some lace. I quite like that. I'm just going to check because this might be right. I think that's actually going to be, I think we could maybe take it in, but no, I'll leave it like that, because what I'll do is I'll put some pockets on there for pens and pencils. That's sorted. Now what I normally do here is I gesso this, but I don't have, well, I do have gesso with me. When I was in Salamis, I discovered a shop called Dennis Plaza, and if you're ever over in the north of Cyprus and you want craft stuff, it's the place to go. Everything is so cheap. I'll just give you, I got some, they don't do Tim Holtz, they do Cadence, which I've used before. So I got distress paste, I got the vintage cherry and the ground espresso. So they're the same colours, but they were just, I think it was 62 lira. Now 100 lira is £5. So 50 lira is £2.50. So these were about £2.75 each. I also got these, the Cadence finger wax. I got the bronze and the green gold. These were £2.50 each. I got, this is the Cadence Vintage Legend Antique Gesso. And again, I think this was only, it was under £2.50 because it was 40 something. I know, I don't know how I'm going to get it home because my craft stuff was heavier than my clothes. I'm going to have to leave some clothes here. I got this rusty patina, and again this was only about £2.50. I got the Cadence Createx Natural Rust Effect paint, and it just comes in that colour, but you get the activator, and when you put it on, it sort of like creates a rusty look. But I also got the rust powder. Now this is metal, this is quite heavy, and when I picked it up I thought, oh, that's nice, I can get a few of them in my case, until I realised the weight. So that was less than £10. I was like totally amazed that I got a big stencil, an art deco. They do a lot of art deco. I mean, it 2 stories high, just full of pins and stuff like that. I was like a child in a sweetie shop. In fact, I went 3 times. I used to park my husband in the local coffee shop because he liked the coffees, the lattes there, and I just used to wander about. I'm sure they thought I was stealing. The woman at the desk kept looking at me, good morning. But so this is, I will use some gesso, and it does take time to dry, so this video will take me a long time. However, it won't take you a long time to watch it because I'm going to go off camera and do this. Okay, so hi, I'm back. So this is the gesso's, I forgot to say, the gesso's textured. It's got stones in it, and as you can see, I've taken some of the big stones off, but what I'm wanting is I'm wanting a rough stony look anyway, and I'm going to use some of this ground espresso distress paste. Now I have been playing with it. They say keep the they say keep the polythene bit on, but and I'm using a sponge rather than a and it is water based, so I was wondering whether to put some on a plate, but it's, if it dries it's a bit, you can get like an extender, and it's kind of it's just the medium. I don't think you have to get the Cadence one, you can just use anything. But what I'm doing is I'm just doing this. I will speed this up as well. Hi, that's me back. So I dried it. We pounced it with the Cadence espresso, ground espresso. I put a little bit of the vintage cherry on it. I then went over it with a little bit of the Cadence finger wax bronze and just a tiny bit of the green gold, and I'm quite pleased with the way I did a little bit of white on it as well. Quite pleased with that. I've also just covered it with book page, just some old book page that I can't really use because if you bend it, it just cracks. It's in Dutch. So now we have the makings of our book. I've also trimmed round the edges, and I will ink round those bits just to brown them off. So what I want to do now is, before we start messing on with the corners and the fasteners, is fixing the signatures in. So this one I've already stitched with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And I don't have any, normally I use wax thread, but I went and got some cotton crocheting thread with a bit of sort of like metallic threaded through. So I will do the other one, but this one, because I've stitched it, will need to go in like a Maduri style, so we'll need a piece of elastic or a piece of string. So I'm going to show you both. I don't want to put the string through this bit, so we're going to do what we call a hidden spine. So I've already cut a piece of cereal box that fits in there. I mean, that measures 2 inches, so this is just under the 2 inches. And you can see because it fastens. And I'm going to stitch this one to it. Now, what you need to do is measure, because these need to line up perfect. So because it's 2 inches, just under 2 inches, the middle one will be 1. So I've just put it a wee notch over there and a wee notch over there. So that's the middle. So then I need the middle of that, which is just over the half. Put my one there and just over the half there. So we'll do that again down here, and then I can line them up. So again, because it's not quite a full inch, and the inch is over this, so it's just over the half. Put the one to the middle, and it's just over the half there. And I'm going to use my big ruler. I think last year I did bring a 12-inch ruler, but I just decided to bring a smaller one with me. So we'll just move that a little bit. Just a light pencil. And just a light pencil there. So that's where my holes need to be. Now this isn't the full length of that. And this is where I need my pokey tool. Right, so what I'm going to do is find the middle of this. I have been sticking things in here. So you get your papers to the edge as best you can. And then clip them together. And I haven't got the great big huge bulldog clips that I use at home, so this is... So I've got that one, and I'm going to clip this side. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just guesstimating this. So that's about right. So I'm just going to estimate the middle. So as you can see, that's the and I think that's about the middle. So I'm just poking this gently through. Now you can see it. Be careful when you do this that you don't poke your fingers, because it is sharp. And then I'm just going to poke it into there like that. Now what I'm going to do is get my needle. It's a chenille needle. It has got a bit of a point on it. Normally I use a bodkin with no point on it. This is the thread I bought here, and I don't actually measure. What I usually do is thread my needle, And this is just cotton crocheting thread, which is just as good. If you want to strengthen it, you can wax it. You can buy wax to wax material, or you can just use a tea light. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting that through there, and I'm holding it there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to estimate that about 2 inches in this side. So it goes right through and through that one. So I'm just pulling that through there, and I'm pushing that where that's been, and there's my needle. And this is what you call a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And again, I'm just guesstimating that, so it's about 2 inches. If you have short papers, like in this one, you need to make sure that they're going to get at least 2, you know, cut twice by the thread, otherwise they'll just wiggle out and that'll be it, you'll not get it. Now I'm just putting that back in, and I'm just going to that line, and I'm just poking it through, and I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to pull my needle through, we've got a bit of a knot, don't worry about it. So remember, we went in that way, out and round. We're going to miss the middle, and we're going to go through this one and put it through the hole in the card. Sorry if my head's in the way. Through the hole in the card and pull it. And pull it tight, not too tight. And then what we're doing now is we're going to go back into the middle. So we came out through, right through the middle of the book, along the middle of the book. And now we're going to go back in the middle, and be careful that you don't get through your thread, otherwise it's harder to pull your thread tight. There we are. Now what you need is you need one bit of thread that side, let me get this sorted. I can take that needle off now. Right, let me get that. And this is how I don't waste any. So you just need enough tail here to tie a knot, and enough tail here to tie a knot. Some people like to tie it in a bow. I sometimes leave it because I like to put beads on the end, but I don't think I've got any beads. I've got little heart beads, but, and then just tie it in a knot. Make sure it's pulled tight, and it's tight on there, so you can see it's on the hidden spine. And tie it in a knot again. We'll tie that one in a bow for now, and then you can trim it off later. Then you can take that off, and then what you would normally do, put your other spine in that one and then stick it down. You can put paper on it. Because of the camera, what I might do is just paint down the edges, and there you have and that will go there. So normally I would stitch that one in, but because I've already stitched it, I'm going to do what we call a Maduri style. So you need an eyelet setter. Now my eyelet setter here is a proper eyelet setter. Setter comes with all these little gadgets. And I have done a little video. That'll teach me to put lids on properly, won't it? Put that one on. Right, so as I said, this comes with all these little gadgets. So you have 3 hole punches, different sizes. I don't know whether you can see. So that's like the large. You can see there's a bit of, let me see if I can get this. It's hollow there, so you can poke them out. There we are. Just like your crocodile, the papers get stuck in it. So there, so we've got that size. We've got the medium size, which I think that's what I'll use. And then you get the little bits with the bobbly ends. If you can see, they've got like the little bobbly ends, and that's for setting the grommets. So I think we'll use the middle one. And I'm going to move this out the way because I don't want the hole coming through. With an eyelet set, you also get like a cutting mat, and you get a hammer. I didn't bring mine with me, so I've had to go and buy this. And then what I need to do is so I want it round about, I don't want it, I just want it at the edges. So it's gonna, yeah. So there. I will turn the sound down on this because it is. You just put this where you want your hole. And then you put your grommets in. So like the nice side there. You take this off, and that's the middle one. And you just put the bobbly bit on there. And there we have it. So what we do now is normally we would feed elastic through there. But as I don't have any elastic, I'm going to use some thread, and that's fine. A lot of people use twine. There's nothing wrong with twine. It's just that the elastic has more, well, I'm going to do it. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in first, because I'm going to pull it tight, because once it's stuck down, I won't be able to remove it unless I take the and again, all you do is you pull it tight. I'm going to put it through again. My husband's just wondering what all the banging was. He's used to me using the crocodile. was using my hammer. See, I told you my husband's just wondering how all the banging is.
It was trying, almost jumped out, which is a physical impossibility at my age. Coming here to save you. Whatever that was attacking you.
No, there was nothing. There was no spiders, honest. It was me just setting eyelets. Okay. He was coming in to save me. He thought something was attacking me. As I say, I normally use my my crocodile at home, and that doesn't make a noise. Right, so I've put it round twice. And I'm just going to tie this in a knot. And there we have it. So we have a hidden spine now. I'm going to take these two bits off. Let me get rid of these grommets. Right, so now we have that. So now we want to stick this in here. And there we have our fitted book ready for decorating. And it is quite a chunky monkey, as you can see, but when that's stuck, that will be stuck there. And a lot of people do put a grommet here, and then they, you know, hang tags and things like that from it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, I'm going to use fabric tack, and then we'll call it a day, because this will need, I'll need to and let's make sure they're both up the right way. Yes. Put it in there. Yes. You get a little bit of wiggle room with fabric tack, which is a good thing. Then what I'm doing is I'm just going to put a bulldog clip at the end there, and a bulldog clip at the end there. And then I'm going to let the book dry and use the pages as the weight. So I hope you get something out of this, and I hope you join me in the next video where we decorate this, because what I've made is I've made some, they're just cereal box, but if you look at them, they look like rusted metal gilded, and we've got some to go on. We've got some hinges. We've got a false hinge to go, one on there and one on there, and then we'll have the buttons, and we'll do like a policy pocket closure. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.